So now we're going. Excellent. Hi, I'm Onan, and you are now watching Larp's Tavern Talk Episode 3, and this here is our Tenon.
Hello.
And Ronan. Unfortunately, this week, Bucky seemed to take a day off or whatever happened here, so...
We went a little late last time, I'm pretty sure. That was the reason.
And he had homework to do. I'm sure that was probably the reason. That's taking way up too much time, reviewers. Well, anyway, now I really have to try and squint here to read that, but...
Oh, not bad.
So, what happened yesterday with Tavern Talk, or not Tavern Talk, Out in the Realm? Give me a little forecast.
Forecast. That's a good one. The forecast was rainy, stormy, and it rained all day the day before, and it was raining the whole day pretty much that day. So we...
With a little thunder and lightning, I'm sure.
We called it. It was the first event we ever had to rain out. I was sitting there on a Sunday afternoon not knowing what to do with myself.
Yes, it was slightly disappointing.
It was. The sun broke out about 3 in the afternoon. And
It was supposed to rain today, and it
cried
didn't.
a little bit.
We could have done it today.
On a Monday. Good call.
I had off. Nobody
I
called me,
only
though.
worked until 1.
Yeah, I got a job.
Yeah,
I think
some
it done
people got
till
jobs.
6.
It happens. Yeah. The safety video intro. Did you do anything with that? Maybe that meant safety video intro as in video that we're going to watch. I think because we were going to...
I thought we were going to shoot some of the safety video. I thought that's what we were...
That's what we were going to do yesterday, I think.
We were going to do that yesterday, but...
I see now,
no
so
time.
it got rained out. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because that safety video is going to start in summer. The middle part is in fall.
It's going to end in winter.
And some of it is going to be in winter. So it's going to be...
Well, definitely autumn for sure.
It's going to cross 3 seasons. I bet you before it's done, it'll be snowing. We'll be filming and it's still snowing.
I can almost guarantee probably within this next weekend it'll probably be snowing because it happens every Halloween that it rains, sleets, snows.
Something.
Yeah.
Something fun. Anyway. So, okay, I guess we're really moving along here. This may only be a half-hour episode.
Well, you want to see... should I throw some of the... what we have so far? Safety video up there?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's watch a little video.
Yeah, so,
have some
definitely.
fun. Watch some video. Drink some beer.
Ale.
Mead.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're going
I've
to
had
do...
mead. It's not well.
That's what they had back then, though. That's the only thing they knew how to make.
And that's why I have ale.
Yeah, you do.
Mm.
Me too. Somebody else is drinking stuff that's
take it
not-
away.
I would say Ronan. There we go.
All right.
All right, that was a pretty good movie or video.
Sure was. So, that was introduction. We're going to actually have...
A full safety
We're going to have a full safety video. Probably break it out into 2 or 3 sections and then have some quizzes at the end that when people are filling out their application and waiver to bring to the game, they can actually have the answers all written down in there.
Excellent.
Or something like that.
Something
Yeah,
like
just
that.
have them do it. You can do it online and then print it out.
Right. That
You
way...
can bring it. Be ready to play.
Right. When you get there, you're ready to play. You don't have to go through everything.
Do all the fun
Because
stuff
that is
of the tour,
time-consuming.
and it takes everybody else away from actually playing as well. So, let's talk about projectile weapons and spells. Projectile spells. I know we had touched on this in episode 2. Some of it got lost, I'm sure. So, do we have any more? I know you I know you had talked about even a bow that you would definitely like to use at some point.
Yeah. When we first started doing LarpCraft stuff, and when we wanted to put the concept together for progressive live-action roleplay, we wanted to make it simple. No hit points, stuff like that. The throwing of projectile magic puts it into the, okay, you just went from kind of cool with playing with fake swords and stuff to completely freaking nerdy with throwing beanbags.
I'm pretty sure almost everybody's seen that Lightning bolt. Yeah,
Right. It's one of the top viewed YouTube videos.
Right.
Like 2 or 3 million hits. I think it's like 2 million hits. But as you start to get more and more into the game, projectile magic, there's just no way around it. I mean, I think we're going to have to do it because otherwise you won't have a true magical element in the game. There's going to be a lot of stuff that magic and sorcery is going to be able to do without projectile. Because projectile, you're a serious magician or sorcerer when you can actually start projecting, harming or healing or whatever you want to do. Whenever we come up with on that. So projectiles are going to be part of it, and we're going to use the beanbag system, I'm sure. Birdseed kind of stuff. Biodegradable.
Yeah, I mean, even I know I had seen some discussion even on the forums about like a rune system, and then if you have a certain rune, I would think that, okay, let's say you got the fire rune, your beanbags are going to be red. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
yeah, you could definitely do something like that. You could do, sorcerers or wizards or magicians, say have a quest for a certain kind of rune. This is just not guessing, but just an idea. Have something along those lines. If you have that rune, then you can cast those. Like, if it's a fire rune, you can cast fire-type spells. If it's an ice, cold-type spells. Things along those lines. Or if it's possible, you could have, like, a life rune.
Right.
Okay. And for that, you could, kill somebody, injure somebody, stuff like that.
Could you life tap? Throw something, like, could you say one of your comrades is dead or in seriously bad shape with lost a few limbs? A life tap projectile, if it hits him.
You could
probably be pretty hard to manage.
But then you're also talking hit points. I mean, obviously we are kind of going to have to.
Well, a limb. I mean, if you're off a limb, and I'm a wizard, and I'm going to do life tap, hit the person.
Oh, and heal basically, a
right.
heal spell.
I'll take a limb from him and give it to you. Or, you're dead, he's alive, hit him, resurrects you. I would see that would be a very serious,
if you didn't have
a major skill. That would have a milestone.
Like a cleric or a paladin or something like that in your party that can heal or resurrect or something like that. That would definitely.
Or maybe that's only something that a healer could do, a life tap spell.
Sure.
Instead of a wizard. Those are all the things we're coming up with. We talked about like a tree of different classes and what they're able to do, and then making the types of skills that they can perform, and put those together in a very simple building block step, so it's easy for somebody getting into the game to realize, okay, if I want to be a wizard and I want all these really powerful cool magic things, they're going to have to realize that you may have to play that character for years before you get enough XP to wield some of those
really
huge
powerful
spells, because they're going to come at a massively huge price of XP. So huge that I'm thinking some of them that are game changers will require you to lose XP just to do it.
That could work.
I mean, if you're going to use, we could set, we got the magical horn of Suman Fu, and from this horn you can wield such a magic that you could take out an entire group. A, it'll lose this horn. B, you'll lose 10,000 XP. It's...
Think about it before you do it.
Right. You'll use it once. I mean, those are the types of things where, okay, you just wiped out a zone with one spell, but
now you're back to zero.
Right. But it could be a game changer,
Really huge, devastating spells like that, absolutely.
Right. Just thinking way in the future.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, I mean, let's jump to like the bow. I know this is going to be, we've been talking about classes and rangers. I mean, rangers are going to be either sword wielders, or they're and
They're
probably
gonna be
dual
using-
wielding swords,
Right.
if they're going to be a ranger, or then also on the other side an archer style. I'm guessing that's commercial.
Huh. Sure was.
I wish there was some kind of warning for that.
Yeah, it did say 15 minutes, so
Oh.
we've been doing it for 15 minutes. I left that window open on accident.
So we should
Hold on.
probably.
Don't talk a second. Okay. Just making sure that
We're still getting all
Wasn't-
bugs and kinks.
yeah,
worked out.
making sure that wasn't going to keep echoing through the whole system. That's why.
Echo.
I got
echo,
you.
Okay.
echo,
All right.
echo.
So, like, even the, arrows are going to be probably like number 1 or number 2 of things that people are going to get. In some way, shape, or form.
Hmm.
And we had discussed touching the beanbag to the bowstring, to even possibly letting them use these
LARPing
goofy
arrows.
LARPing arrows that look really, really goofy and look like they have a softball on the end of them that are made of foam.
Essentially, yeah.
So, have we discussed this at all? Besides, obviously we didn't have a event yesterday, so there wasn't a lot of discussion between any of us.
Well, we can discuss it now.
Yeah, that's what Tavern talks about.
Right.
You're literally watching history unfold. And then, if we do it during Tavern Talk, we can watch what we just said so that we can record it down later.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Yeah. I would think that projectile weapons are going to take a serious amount of skill from a safety aspect of the realm to make sure that a boyer would be an archer throwing projectile, whatever it is, throwing axe, whatever. That A, that the weapon is safe, and B, that the person who's throwing the item has a very good range. That might be something. Okay, you qualified in XP to do the bow and arrow. Okay. Second bet is, okay, you got a bow and arrow that's LARP approved, that doesn't go past the 25 pounds
Of draw.
and the arrows are LARP arrows. And C, the quest that you would have to do in order to do this would require literally a target bullseye that at certain amount of feet, you have to be on. We'll make it a fun, hit the zombie as it walks by, and you got to hit it 3 or 4 times, or something. But you have to hit in a certain area, or maybe even just a regular target. So that way we know, because any kind of weapon that's ranged like that, you could hit somebody in the head and face and eye and that kind of stuff. So,
And I seriously think that's why they go with the beanbag system versus probably LARP-approved arrows. Your
what's
range
the
is...
beanbag system?
Well, just using like a beanbag or a bag
The
of seeds.
beanbag system that I saw was you have the arrow.
Uh-huh.
You have the bow. And it has a string, but if you pull it, it's just like men in tights.
Right.
But you have, say, 5 beanbags in your hand that you're holding the bow with. You pull one out. If you touch the beanbag to the string, it's the same as a notched arrow, and then you throw the bag. That's just one idea.
Right.
The other way, you could actually get the LARP-approved bow that has a certain amount of pullback and use the monstrosity of an arrow to actually fire.
And maybe we can incorporate, okay, you start with the beanbag bow
Mm-hmm.
and arrow system. And then
Well,
that's level 1.
Well,
And you could graduate.
when you
to
graduate to
wireless.
the level
it's
2.
just like I guess I don't know what I'm even thinking here, but progress. Yeah, okay, you're a ranger, but you're still a low level ranger.
Mm.
Now you have to get to a certain amount of XP to get to level
Right.
2 of this, and then
Right.
then you still have to do another set of quests in order to prove that you can shoot
Actually do it.
arrows and also not be endangering everybody else around you,
Mm-hmm.
including yourself.
Just like, say you said that with a ranger you can specialize in either, say, dual wielding or ranged attack. Yeah, you can dual wield as a ranger, but you still have to meet the XP requirements to dual wield.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
No,
Like
no
other
argument
other
there.
classes aren't going to be able to dual. Certain classes can't dual wield and things along those lines.
That's going to follow that diagram tree
Right.
that you can glance at. Because if there's, I want to do a wielder, I definitely want to be able to do bow and arrow or
Well, and I
throwing
mean,
stars or something. You're going to have to look at classes and skills to match up when you
Mhm.
make a character to make sure that, the thing we don't want to see is somebody spent buco hours and started making XP on this thing, and then they realize, oh, I can't dual wield with this kind of a character.
Mm.
and it kind of comes down to, we also kind of discussed the races a little bit 2 weekends ago, as to like even undead as being
A playable
a playable
race.
race, being like that they get to resurrect, but then they also don't get certain other things, like they don't get the dual wield, they don't get shields, they don't get a lot of stuff.
Right.
They can't wear armor when we get to armor.
There has to be there has to be a balance between the two. Yes, this is really cool, but I won't get to do this. But if I want to do this, I can do this. I can be this other race or this other class. I may not be able to do other things that I want to do, but this is what I really want to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to look for that one cool thing that they really, really like, and that's what they're going to shoot for.
Right.
I mean, kind of part of...
And with other classes and races, there will be other little things that, will make it really cool.
And maybe not right away. Like Undead, you'll get that. Maybe get that right away, but that might be what you're getting.
Right.
Right.
And like for Undead, when you start getting XP in Undead, before you can, let's say you don't, under 1,000 XP, when they kill you, you're dead. You're such a weak undead that you can't even just come back right away. So we build it into the XP system too that way.
Well, I mean, but even still, if they, they get to resurrect once. I mean, it's like, okay, but now you're going to get up to like 3 times. Well, hey, this is all you're getting realistically. You may want to think about that,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I've thought about the Undead race class already a little bit.
I mean, we don't.
I mean,
we obviously don't have an approved list of races, but obviously we can throw some ideas out there.
Well, we're pretty close to narrowing it down from what you wrote, what I wrote, what people have responded to on the forums with. We got some decent feedback, so
And I mean, obviously, it's not bound to it. I mean, we've kind of drew that out from the get-go. We don't really want to bind people to, this is going to be the set list. If you come up with some great class and that's what you want to play, have a good backstory, because we'll try.
We'll do our best.
What we'll probably have to do is that would require
you have to go through an approval, but I mean
that would require a meeting at the altar and with the elders. Like
and
any
you're
other
pretty much
thing.
looking at them, so I mean,
right.
I mean, you're not going to see too many. Not to say if you want to play an orc, by all means, you're not going to see that many like orc magicians,
right?
Because orcs typically have a lower. Not trying to offend anybody. Orcs usually have lower intelligence and things along those lines. So with orcs, you're only going to see barbarians, fighters, maybe an orc bard or something like that. But you're rarely going to see like an orc magician or an orc sorcerer or something like that. On the flip side of that, you're not going to see too many elf barbarians.
Right.
So, I mean, elves are smaller, more dexterous, things along those lines.
And those are some of the things when we're putting when you build your profile for your character. Like right now, you can pretty much put in any race. You can put in pretty much any class. There's no set list.
Mm.
When we come up with the actual set list on LARPing.pro, you're going to have to choose from a drop-down. That's going to be...
And then when you click this one, it's going to limit you. I mean, obviously,
But even if you do select this and you're like, oh yeah, this is really cool, I want to try this. Don't feel like you're locked into that by any means. I mean, if you want to change, you're going to lose your XP. But if you want to change and try something else, hey, Go for
Yeah,
it.
I mean,
You can create as many profiles as you have emails for.
or create an email.
That's what I meant.
Oh, which
Because I cannot, for the life of me, figure out how to associate more than one character with an email. It becomes a security issue. 'Cause
no, it's understandable.
we found out how to hack the site with if you have one email with 5 or 6 accounts. Like, okay, you got 6 characters with one
Right.
email. I could log in as you, forget my password, and send it to myself.
Ooh.
It's stuff like that. But like you said, it's super easy to create an email just for that character, but you're going to want to write
I
down
mean,
your
it took
username
me-
and password. But
It took me a total of like 15 minutes, and that was trying to decide how I wanted my email to look.
Right.
So, I mean, there's like, I'm finding Yahoo now has like 6 or 7
dot somethings.
something
Dot
coms at Ymail, at Yahoo, at, I know there's like 2 other ones, I think. I know there's like, and I'm sure the list is going to keep growing because people want certain names and, hey, my name's John Smith. I want John.Smith,
And eventually,
you're going to run out of...
you can have a character at larping.pro.
Hmm.
We can assign unlimited emails in that account. So you could actually sign up for your own email account at larping.pro. So it'll be the name at larping.pro or whatever. So you'd actually have a LARPing email, true to form.
That would be really kind of cool.
Sweet. And you could use it through Gmail, Yahoo, anything that associates with groups, because most of those will do that. So you can look for that in the coming months too. That's going to be pretty cool. All free.
I mean, I don't know that we beat this projectile thing in any way, shape, or form to death yet. And I'm sure this is going to come up multiple times, multiple tavern talks from here on out. I mean, it kind of just...
It just seems like the best way around it. Like you were saying earlier, we really didn't want to go down that road with having to throw the bean bags and stuff like that and be locked into that. But it does seem like that's the way you have to go. I mean, if you're casting, say, lightning. Unfortunately, I have to say lightning bolt, and you obviously have to throw it. You can't go lightning bolt. I hate you. You can't do that.
Right.
Yeah, there's no... I mean, there's also the chance to dodge. I mean,
Right.
If I see it coming, I can probably move out of the way, hopefully.
Right, and so, some things, say it is somebody cast a lightning bolt or chain lightning or whatever at you. If you have a shield, obviously that's not going to protect you against that.
Right.
But if it's like something else, like a fireball, maybe.
What if, for projectile magic, we come up with a color code system for the beanbag? Half the thing that makes it so freaking nerdy and geeky is you have to call what it is before you throw it. What if blue is lightning? You throw blue, you get hit with blue, that's lightning. You don't have to call it out. Sure, the magician can, or the sorcerer or the wizard probably would call it out if they wanted to, but it's not a necessity. What if it was just by color?
I don't like red for fire, blue for ice, or something like that. White for
White for
lightning.
lightning.
White for lightning, I mean, and green
Blue
for...
for
red
green
for
some
uh,
earth.
yeah.
I mean,
Go with
whatever.
that
Yeah,
word.
we could do it that way. Because all you're basically getting is you can buy fabric and you put
Sure.
birdseed in there and tie it with rubber bands. I mean,
Right. Super cheap. and
that's
easy to
really
do.
cheap. Yeah.
But this also runs into, I know X amount of spells each day, so you're not going to be carrying around a big sack with magic spells in.
No, you have like a little pouch
Little pouch.
because
Right.
you
have to have
would
the
need
regents, so
right.
that's
You would
what
have
I'm
to have spell components, and say you're doing like a free spell. You could only cast 2 of them per time, and you would need like a little vial of water to make into ice, and those 2 beanbags would represent your little vials of water.
But if it's a magic, if it's simply cast from a spoken word type of magic, these are other things that other LARPing organizations are
also struggle with, I
yeah,
think.
there's a split between the groups in this category. My personal opinion is if there's a magic that's called strictly by spoken word, it wouldn't be a sorcerer, it wouldn't need material.
Mm-hmm.
That if you know how to do that spell, you should be able to cast that spell at will. Now, like some groups will say, well, you can cast that spell 3 or 4 times in a game, and there's a cooldown period or something like
Mhm.
that. I
Which
understand.
is what I had.
Right. and a true magician who casts the chain lightning, there should be not only mental but physical drawbacks to performing such magic. You know, most stories do follow that sort of guideline. But I pretty much just contradicted what I first said, because I do think that there should probably be something that limits it. I mean, how many bean bags can you carry at once, you know?
Well, and that's what I was getting at. I mean, realistically, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I also have come up with this idea that, you know, if you have a spell book, like most wizards will have a spell book, they should be written down what spells they can cast. And
we talked about that. Let's say that you've reached a certain level of XP as a wizard, and you want to learn the spell Fireball. What me and our tenant discussed was, you get a stamp. You can cast Fireball, and you put it in your spellbook.
Or you get a pendant, or
something. You get something.
Something that would...
Well, I know, but okay, now how do we police this, I guess, would be the other issue. Let's say you get killed by a fireball.
Mm-hmm.
Can you ask to see their spellbook and say, okay, you got fireball?
Or before you start the game, when you sign in every time, you have to show your spellbook and like which beanbags you're carrying in. That way it's policed when you start. Could you call a ref over if you didn't believe that? Yeah, you could. You could call somebody on it. But I think that if there's no suspicion to, in defense of the spellcaster, that person may just be getting called out because they're upset that they're getting disgruntled. Yeah. So there should be some negative attributes to calling somebody out and making a ref check or a
check. Pausing the action.
Pausing the game is what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And what would we call a penalty? I mean, as that you lose 5 XP.
Something. They'd be probably XP based.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be okay
you
with
lose
that
the.
too.
Let's say you lose the XP for the quest.
Or you can't do the quest.
You can't do that quest now.
Right.
It's
but
probably
let's say
is easier to.
Well, let's say we're out in the
please.
realm, and I don't know, I'm out and I just get ganked and somebody hit me with a fireball. Knowing, most people remember what other people have. I mean, it's just human nature to memorize. All of a sudden, this person's whipping, I don't know, chain lightning's out, and they've only been here 2 times, and you're like, hold on.
You would know when you have a community of players. They all pretty much know each other's traits.
Right.
They will probably be there when the person completes the quest and is happier than a pig and you know what, just because they made it to the next level. That's a milestone. That's a character improvement. That's you did something that not rarely people have done.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's say that, like you were saying, this guy's been here 2 times. He's throwing out chain lightning, and he's not supposed to be doing that. The penalty for him would be the same that the person that called him out. Say the person called him out. Where am I going with this?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
So he's going to lose XP.
He's
being
doing something he's not supposed to do.
Smart to remember what he has in his spellbook, or
that's part of the thing. If you're playing a wizard, you would know what you have.
Well, let's say I've been playing a while and I have multiple spells.
Mm-hmm.
So fireball, I have a lightning. Can I mix at one time? Can I have 2 lightning bolts and 1 fireball, or 2 fireballs? Okay.
A good wizard should have a arsenal that meets certain...
Because I'm sure you're going to run into things out there.
Right,
fire elementals. You're not going to be throwing fire at a fire elemental.
Right, because
it's not going to do anything.
With the different kinds of magics, I guess, as a wizard or a sorcerer or a magician or whatever, you can specialize in certain different kinds of...
And that's kind of
magic.
That's probably where I was going
right.
with this. Are you going to be specialized in? Okay,
you can specialize in offensive spells, defensive spells, freeze spells,
certain schools
healing.
of magic.
Yeah,
Also,
I guess you could do that.
I mean, limited it to 2, maybe. Get to a certain level, you get a second school.
I could probably come up with something.
Fireball, fireball, fireball. That's pretty much what you're throwing.
Right.
Tell them to start out with.
That might be. Just using it as a
have
rule, and then eventually you can go into another school of magic.
Mm-hmm. Say necromancy would be like you command if there's an undead on the thing on the other team or the quest or whatever, you could rebuke undead or whatever, and that undead is now yours to command. That would be like under the necromancy school, which is
right. Also another school of magic,
right.
which would probably be like a black beanbag or something like
right.
that.
That'd be sweet. That'd be pretty sweet.
I mean, it'd be cool.
Now, do you think that? All right, say I'm a wizard. Do we want to make LARPing, progressive live-action roleplay and YLARP? Do we want to make this? Do you think? Okay. Do you think that character should also be proficient in some form of combat? Can they start the game with just magic?
I would have to say no.
No, I would have to agree with that. They can use only certain kinds of weapons.
Right. But still, before you, as a wizard, let's say you're an apprentice wizard, you're just starting out. You may not learn your first magic spell or get, you may have, you're going to have to have a quest to even get your spell book. You're going to have to meet a certain criteria with combat and XP comboed with the quest to get the spell book before you can even get into what you're going to learn as a magic class.
Yeah, and I mean, I would think when you get your spell book, you're going to be able to learn at least one spell. Otherwise,
right, yeah.
Why would I want to be carrying around a spell book if I don't know anything?
Right. I mean, let's say you do the quest to get your spell book, when you do that, you get one spell.
Right.
And you may only get to use it once.
Yeah.
The whole time you're there that day.
Right.
I would put a heavy toll on the magic you can perform and the number of times you can use it. Because
yeah, you don't want some
you really don't want, what I don't want, especially in the realm we're playing in, is 500 beanbags all over the place. And then what if somebody forgets to pick them up in a wildlife sanctuary?
It's true.
So you can have like a max on the number of spells you can.
I would prefer, maybe you only can carry 3 at a time.
Well, that's what I was.
That doesn't mean
that's kind of where I was going. But I was saying, okay, well, you learned a spell. Guess what? You get 1 beanbag.
Right.
And now you have to progress, and obviously,
right, up to a maximum of 3 spells per time. That's
3 beanbags.
Right.
Or seed bags, or whatever we want to do for it. But
yeah, that sounds like
that
good way to do it. I mean, that way you're not like, it's not like, release the catapults and there's a whole lot of beanbags out there. Seed bags that somebody forgets. You're like, okay, well, no.
Now, should they recover their beanbag after they killed the person or character, presuming that they would loot them? Or should the character who was unfortunate enough to be hit by such item take that back to the graveyard, at which point we would have a collection bin for those beanbags?
That sounds like a better idea.
Because if
because you could still
wizard,
get battled.
If a wizard got killed, I would think, foreseeably, that they could res at the graveyard and retrieve. They could rearm
themselves, yeah, but they would still have to
that
study
way
their
right.
spell book and everything to get.
But there's only that way. There's only 3 in the realm that they control at any given time.
Right.
But that way, it's not limited to where you can only do 3 per event. When you die, you can come back or maybe it's not die. Maybe it's you pay a toll, you pay an XP, you pay something. If you want to use it more than 3 times in a game, there's going to be some kind of thing or cost.
Yeah, there's going to be some cost associated with it, right?
But I don't think it should be limited to where you can use just that 3. I'm like contradicting exactly what I was expressing.
The only problem I see with that, with the if you throw it, if I'm the wizard and I throw it at you and it hits you, when you die, you pick it up and take it to the graveyard and put it in the bin. Is what happens if the wizard doesn't die?
Then he's up.
And the quest is still going on.
Well, he's got to be proficient at fighting in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, you have a point. Yes.
Because you're okay. You were born into a wizard's family. Freaking Harry Potter or whatever the hell you are. All right.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Now, you've lived your character's life from a mother and father wizard or a father and father wizard, whatever day and age we're living in here. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're instantly going to know that type of magic or magic right away.
Right. It has
you
to be
may
learned.
physically or mentally not be capable of doing that yet.
Mm-hmm.
But you can easily pick up a blade and start learning an art before you can do magic.
Say it's self-defense.
Because I would really like to see every character in the realm be proficient at something, comfortable with something, that they're not afraid or be unable to swing or throw something just because they can wield magic.
Well, no, eventually. I mean, if you're in a fight and you use your bags, you use your spells, you're not just going to sit there and go, okay. You got to have something to fall back on.
Right.
You may not be, the best. You may not have the biggest blade or the furthest reach, but you can defend yourself. Right. You have to defend yourself.
So, in essence, a wizard or sorcerer, anybody who can do projectile magic,
should be proficient in any blade. I mean, obviously, they're not going to be carrying around a shield and, maybe a battle mage if we so inclined to allow that.
That may roll out season 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Right, cross-classing.
Right.
But I'm just saying,
you could definitely carry like a short sword or maybe like a short spear or something like that. But yeah, you're not going to walk around as a mage carrying like a shield and a two-handed sword, anything like that. No, but you're going to have something. You'll need something to defend yourself, even if it's a dagger. You're going to have something.
Okay. Yeah. That prevents a lot of beanbags from being thrown around, and it allows you to still get involved in the combat scene.
And obviously, there may be characters by the time anybody else gets to this point, now that we get a new character in, there may be people out there throwing around beanbags. Mm-hmm. We're kind of progressing in XP as we go, and I think, we fully are going to be progressing. As we, obviously winter is going to be hindering us a little bit here.
Yes.
Cold weather.
Speaking of which, should we speak about that when our events are obviously going to be cut down when the snow starts to fall?
Yeah, we can jump to that. I think we've discussed projectile weapons quite a bit. So
perhaps we take this moment to do a short video segment on Permission to Touch, another safety enhancement video that will be part of our video library.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, let's do that.
That way I can get some more mead. Some quizzes at the end that when people are filling out their application and waiver to bring to the game, they can actually have the answers all written down in there.
Excellent.
Or something like that.
Have them do it. You can do it online and then print it out.
Right. That way,
bring it. Be ready to play.
Right. When you get there, you're ready to play. You don't have to go through everything.
Do all the fun stuff of the tour,
and
it takes everybody else away from actually playing as well. So, let's talk about projectile weapons and spells. Projectile spells. I know we had touched on this in episode 2. Some of it got lost, I'm sure. So, do we have any more? I know you I know you had talked about even a bow that you had definitely like to use at some point.
Yeah. When we first started doing YLARP stuff, and when we wanted to put the concept together for progressive live action role play, we wanted to make it simple. No hit points, stuff like that. The throwing of projectile magic puts it into the, okay, you just went from kind of cool with playing with fake swords and stuff to completely freaking nerdy with throwing beanbags.
I'm pretty sure almost everybody's seen that lightning bolt. Yeah,
Right. It's one of the top viewed YouTube videos.
Right.
Like 2 or 3 million hits. I think it's like 2 million hits. But as you start to get more and more into the game, projectile magic, there's just no way around it. I mean, I think we're going to have to do it because otherwise you won't have a true magical element in the game. There's going to be a lot of stuff that magic and sorcery is going to be able to do without projectile. Because projectile, you're a serious magician or sorcerer when you can actually start projecting, harming or healing or whatever you want to do. Whenever we come up with on that. So projectiles are going to be part of it, and we're going to use the beanbag system, I'm sure. Birdseed kind of stuff. Biodegradable.
Yeah, I mean, even I know I had seen some discussion even on the forums about like a rune system, and then if you have a certain rune, I would think that, okay, let's say you got the fire rune, your beanbags are going to be red. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
yeah, you could definitely do something like that. You could do, sorcerers or wizards or magicians, say you have a quest for a certain kind of rune. This is just not guessing, but just an idea. Have something along those lines. If you have that rune, then you can cast those. Like, if it's a fire rune, you can cast fire-type spells. If it's an ice, cold-type spells. Things along those lines. Or if it's possible, you could have, like, a life rune.
Right.
Okay. And for that, you could, kill somebody, injure somebody, stuff like that.
Could you life tap? Throw something, like, could you say one of your comrades is dead or in seriously bad shape with lost a few limbs? A life tap projectile, if it hits him.
You could.
That would probably be pretty hard to manage.
But then you're also talking hit points. I mean, obviously we are kind of going to have to.
Well, a limb. I mean, if you're off a limb, and I'm a wizard, and I'm going to do life tap, hit the person.
Oh, and heal basically,
Right.
heal spell.
I'll take a limb from him and give it to you. Or, you're dead, he's alive, hit him, resurrects you. I would see that would be a very serious,
if you didn't have
a major skill. That would have a milestone.
Like a cleric or a paladin or something like that in your party that can heal or resurrect or something like that. That would definitely.
Or maybe that's only something that a healer could do, a life tap spell.
Sure.
Instead of a wizard. Those are all the things we're coming up with. We talked about like a tree of different classes and what they're able to do, and then making the types of skills that they can perform, and put those together in a very simple building block step, so it's easy for somebody getting into the game to realize, okay, if I want to be a wizard and I want all these really powerful cool magic things, they're going to have to realize that you may have to play that character for years before you get enough XP to wield some of those
really
huge spells, because they're going to come at a massively huge price of XP. So huge that I'm thinking some of them that are game changers will require you to lose XP just to do it.
That could work.
I mean, if you're going to use, we could set, we got the magical horn of Suman Fu, and from this horn you can wield such a magic that you could take out an entire group. A, it'll lose this horn. B, you'll lose 10,000 XP. It's...
Think about it before you do it.
Right. You'll use it once. I mean, those are the types of things where, okay, you just wiped out a zone with one spell, but
Now you're back to
you
0.
right. But it could be a game changer, you know.
Really huge, devastating spells like that. Absolutely.
Right. Just thinking way in the future.
Oh yeah.
Stuff like that.
Well, I mean, let's jump to like the bow. I know this is going to be, we've been talking about classes and rangers. I mean, rangers are going to be either A, sword wielders, or they're, and probably dual wielding swords,
right,
if they're going to be a ranger, or then also on the other side, an archer style. I'm guessing that's commercial.
Huh. Sure was.
I wish there was some kind of warning for that.
Yeah, it did say 15 minutes, so we've been doing it for 15 minutes. I left that window open on accident.
So, we should
Hold on.
probably...
Don't talk a second. Okay. Just making sure that... All right.
And we're back. Thanks for a little funny video.
Sure, no problem. Anytime I get to kill Bucky, it's a pleasure. It's always fun. To and fro.
Hobbits
To
are
and fro.
crunchy.
Hobbits are crunchy.
It's fun to
It's a
chase
small
them,
meal,
too.
though.
As you've seen from, I don't know, maybe you haven't, but if you haven't caught any of the other episodes where Odin chases the hobbits around in a Blair Witch Project style of video.
We'll play that one in a little while.
it's rather
hilarious.
humorous, actually. So, what were we discussing before we went to break? Besides projectile weapons, what were we going to jump to?
Like we were still on.
Oh,
that.
the during winter.
Oh yeah, we were going to go to during winter. We're probably going to cut back to probably once a month. I mean, we're doing it now every weekend. We're probably going to wait till the first snow flies. Hopefully, snow flying while we're playing isn't a big deal, but I'm guessing
Actually, I think that'd be kind of cool.
It will be
once the snow is on the ground,
Once you get,
it's not going to be so much
yeah,
fun.
fun to have to walk through, not as much. No.
I mean, obviously, the arena
He's
is
on the
probably
other
going to get
side
packed
of the
down.
realm. Where? I can't see.
It all looks the same.
He's been gone for days. Frozen in the snow later. Medic.
Can I get a healing spell over here?
A thaw spell, perhaps. He's cartoon blue.
He was not wearing his protective cape.
Oh, and that would probably is why he froze to death then, huh?
Probably.
You know, we're all from Wisconsin Live Action Roleplay. We're from Wisconsin. We can endure quite a bit of cold and snow. And I think you're right. Playing in the elements is going to be fun.
It's going to have a whole new element of safety involved with it.
Snowsuits and all the other fun things.
Well, like we got a pretty decent enclosed trailer for all the equipment. You know, during the winter games, it has a heater.
If you get too
You know,
cold,
you
just
get cold,
come
go
inside the tavern there. Yeah.
Go inside the tavern. We call it the tavern. And just
so
safety is important. So
where are you gonna decide to park that? In the parking lot, I'm guessing, once
Yeah.
the snow flies.
when it's plowed,
That's true too.
it won't get plowed right away if it's a big storm. So
Right.
we probably won't play if it's a big storm, but a nice winter's day, sure, we'll still play. I'd still like to play every week, but you know what it would turn into?
This
You
is-
7 core players.
yeah, there'd be the
You
5
and yourself and that other person that shows up,
Yeah.
and then you're
That's
battling inside the tavern because
because there's nothing else to do.
people. Sword play in the tavern is strictly prohibited.
We should make a sign. I can see it happening already.
Oh yes.
So
So
But
yes,
yeah,
we're definitely going to be cutting. we're
probably
gonna
going to cut back in winter. Yeah, that'll give us more time to write and develop the, do more of the tavern talks, do
Hmm.
more of the proactive live action stuff virtually, like in our humble abode here. And then we want you as the viewers to actually get involved. Right now, you can even scroll down and comment on this video while we're actually doing it if it's part of the live talk session. And that's going to be a big thing as we get going. Nobody's talking yet, but we're after every session we clear the chat board. That way it can be very proactive. You can come in and we can
answer
talk
questions
about it.
as we're going.
Right.
And
We'll do our best to answer the question right then.
Yep.
Now, I know the realm that we do play in right now has several places to, because I'm curious about this myself, has several places to have campfires.
There's actually approved fire pits with logs or stone. There's just one that's all stone. It's a fire pit inside like a stone gathering
Circle,
area.
yeah.
Circle.
It is really awesome.
We would probably want to enchant that in some which way or form.
Mm.
That'd be a pretty cool something.
Yes.
So
Ritual to the gods.
we'll contact the realm managers and see what we're able to do. I've got about 3 cords of wood that are dry and that I have behind my house. It'd be due time to get those out and
get them
bring a few wheelbarrows at a time. And
I mean,
it won't take much, but
I mean, to me, that would be pretty cool.
That'd be
Just
cool.
sitting around the fire, yeah, it's chilly and the snow may be falling, but if you're sitting next to a roaring fire and you're like, yes, I remember this quest.
mm-hmm. Or the quest can't start until the fire starts. Or it has to have something to do with the fire.
Yes.
We're not talking to all kids here, so we can play with fire now.
Yes.
This is good. That would be very, very cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just another thing to add to the list.
Because in that realm there's I know of 3 fire pits. One by the second graveyard.
Mm.
There's one in zone 9. And then there's
yeah.
one.
TP one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty
That's a
cool
big
meeting
one.
place too.
And that one's nice because it has
Like a small wooden wall.
the wooden wall. You may have seen it in some of the videos we made. That's a wind wall. So keeps the I would say nor'easters, but it's built
On the wrong side.
southwesters. It's built in the southwest sides. So, but it's a windbreak.
Mm.
It is.
So we're very fortunate to be able to play in that realm. It's going to be very hard to replicate that realm somewhere else where we can drink mead and camp overnight.
One of two of the 2 items that we'd all like to do, but
Right.
But we
unfortunately,
respect
being
Yeah,
where it is, we can't. So I mean,
and it's so close. It's so local. You don't have to drive very far to get to it. That's the cool part about that realm.
Yes, my hut is only like 1.5 miles away.
Right. As is mine. Yours is a bit further,
yeah,
but not too big, not too much.
I'm probably like 10 to 15.
Miles?
From your hut?
Yeah.
You're like 2 miles.
And it's
15
only-
miles is like past Plymouth. Plymouth is 8 miles.
Yes.
Well, then 5.
In a faraway land he lives.
It's a long ways by foot.
By foot,
By
it would be quite a ways. But
all right,
yeah,
well,
in the
let's-
wintertime, we'll just call it the day before. If it looks like it's going to be under a certain degree or treacherous snow, we'll call it. Move it to the next weekend or something. We'll have a snow out date instead of a rain out date.
Sweet.
A snow out date. Could probably make a rain out date thing too, but in the summertime we're playing every weekend, so
It doesn't really matter if we miss. There's one weekend that just.
Yeah,
has-
another thing with it being, say, rained out, if it's raining beforehand, before everybody gets there, before the event starts, of course it's going to be a rain out. If it's cloudy, it's not raining, and people are starting to show up, and it starts to rain, what do we do then?
game's on. If the game, we talked about this in session 1, I think.
I don't recall this. But
If the game has
session
started
1, as in
the
first time we ever played.
went.
I was not there.
Yeah. If it starts to precipitate.
Precipitate.
That's gonna be a good
Better.
fun word once you have a few more of those.
Yeah.
All
Feeling
right.
it already. Then we'll keep playing.
Mhm.
But if it would have to,
And it also comes down to a personal judgment. If you don't want to be out in the rain and precipitation when it happens, I mean, you can pack up your stuff, turn in your XP, whatever you need to do, and you can
Yeah.
head
You
home.
can
I
go
mean,
early.
it's all good.
We'll get you at the next event. Not a problem.
Right. I do wish to address, if you leave early or come late, you will definitely not reap as many benefits as those who stayed the entire time.
Well, and
I think there should be some.
it's fully
some
happened
benefit.
already, actually.
Right.
I mean, you leave early, and it's happened to you too.
Yeah.
You were running quests after
I
we had
was.
both left, and other people got XP. It's kind of the whole thing. I mean, you got to be there to get it. So
There's like an extra 18 to 20 XP.
I was going to say 18, 20 XP. So, I mean, it's kind of your discretion. I mean, how much XP you want to get. I mean, you want to stay and get the full amount, or...
In the weather thing, though, too, we're also going to be. Sorry, I didn't mean to break
Oh,
back
I'm just
into
saying.
that.
I'm just saying that there's.
If it looks like severe weather,
Yeah, we're
when you
gonna
start
call
hearing the thunder really going, or say the wind substantially picks up, we're done.
like tomorrow, where they're saying 50 to 60 mile per hour winds.
Yeah,
I'm
we would
losing my
definitely not.
I'm losing my
Garbage
garbage
cans.
barrels. Guaranteed. They're going to be in the next county.
You might as well just put them in your garage.
Yeah. Good idea. That'd be a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I already know those aren't going to happen to be in there then.
Probably not.
So, I think we can move on to the next topic, maybe.
All right.
I had heard, and now this has actually been confirmed
Uh-oh.
on Yahoo, even, that they are coming out with The Hobbit. It's going to be at least 2 movies. It's the same director that did Lord of the Rings,
Mhm.
but and
These
they
are
confirmed
prequels.
and
Prequels.
yeah, the
Hmm.
ones before.
Right.
He confirmed the cast already.
Yeah. Bunch
At
of
least
no-names.
9 characters.
Bunch of no names.
Yeah, well, a lot of the people that were in the Lord of the Rings
They
also
were no
were
names when they
too,
started.
so,
Yep.
I mean, but he might not be going to New Zealand where he filmed the other movies because New Zealand is having issues with
Labor unions.
labor unions for actors. So he may be going to some other countries. Switzerland or something like that, maybe. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
So, I mean, I just was going to throw it out there. I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yes, yes. Out of all the books, that's the only one I read.
The first one?
Hmm.
It's an interesting book. I mean,
The other ones didn't have many pictures.
oh, well, that's the issue then. Is that one in graphic novel?
That had the pop-up pictures?
Ooh, those are fun. Then I really get into the story.
Literally.
Mm.
Kind of like Alice falling down the rabbit hole.
I don't want to talk about that.
That's good stuff.
You guys got anything else?
As of right now, everything's moving pretty smoothly. These podcasts will be available. Tavern Talk style. We're calling them officially. We're calling them LarpCasts because we registered LarpCast.com, which was amazing that was available. And that's where you can download them right there, or we'll link them to iTunes or RSS feeds, and you'll be able to put them on your portable device and listen or watch live or at your own time.
They're
I
on-
did find I did get a new phone that runs the Android system.
Mhm.
I mean a magical box.
Magical box.
A magical
Does it talk?
box. It does talk. And there are some other LARPing organizations who actually are big enough. They have apps for their LARPs. There's 2 of them. So when you're it's a random something generator and this other there whatever. It actually is part of the realm. an app on your phone.
Nice.
It's kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. It's in the Android marketplace. All you got to do is type in LARP. It's the only. There's like 3 things that come up. So it's pretty cool.
Leave it to you to find that too.
I know, right? Late night searching on my phone. Let's see if there's a LARP app. And so there was.
Should I be sleeping? No.
Do I have to get up in 3 hours?
Yes.
Is it going to suck tomorrow?
Probably.
Definitely.
Well, let's finish out the segment with your adventure.
Well, hold on before you go.
Okay.
Ronan, you have anything?
XP bands? All right, that was a good video. Oops. All right.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Hopefully watching us a little bit longer. We're getting goofy now, so it gets to be a lot more fun. You want to discuss XP bands again as to
A new style.
the new style?
Yeah.
You're going to try?
The original XP bands. Let's do it this way. The original XP bands
There we
were
go.
like these right here. Okay, so this is like a type of XP band, but this is this is like a quest band. This band is white if it's actually the regular XP, as you can see on the belt buckle right there. But that is just the free version. What we're coming up with is not free, a different style of XP band that allows you to make a custom or unique band. That way, if you're in a certain realm or a certain group, and you would make a certain color that represents your character. So that way, if we're fighting...
Rise.
Oh,
Jeez, you're
all
horrible.
right, so if we're fighting, and he kills me, and I die, he gets my XP band. But now, he comes along to somebody else. Now, that XP band is what Ronan is carrying, and Odin sees that. He will see that Ronan has killed Artenin, just because that's a very unique XP band. So having a unique style of XP band, and there it goes. So that allows you, it's a little bit more custom. So we're going to try that out in the realm. It's actually a survival bracelet. You can get them on Amazon. You can buy them on our store eventually. But it's a very durable 550 cord, 550-pound test cord. And you can break it apart if you really had to. And there'd be 7 feet of survival cord in here. So it's just one of the many things you can do. You can actually put beads. You can interlace beads inside the band.
Yeah, like in your hair.
Yes.
So that way it'll be, again, more unique.
When it
So
grows.
there's a lot of opportunities there. So we're going to try this
So you're
out.
growing your hair out?
Slowly, if it comes back at all at the top.
Oh, I'm sorry, you were stalking.
No.
Oh, you're done?
I was done. I was just waiting for you to come back in, and we're talking about hair.
Yeah. He said he was going to grow his hair out slowly if it comes back. Because he
Yes.
wants to put beads in it. Because you were talking about beads.
Okay.
And
Dreadlock
ribbons.
beads?
No,
Yeah.
ribbons.
Oh,
Ribbons
now,
and
now
beads.
ribbons and beads?
Mm.
Ribbons and beads.
Mm.
Ribbons and beads. Ribbons and beads. Ribbons and beads.
Have another mead, guys.
Okay.
I haven't drank enough.
As you can tell, we're drinking water. It's all water.
Some tasty water.
Mm-hmm. So if we have anything else to talk about, we did have a request from one of our email viewers. So if you take a look at the screen, the login page, it is absolutely free to log in on the YLARP, and it will be free to log in on the larping.pro site too. So you can get connected, join for free, and start
Click it.
your
Let's do it.
join for free. So you can create a new name, username, password. I would go in and actually go through this. We'll save that for a next episode. You can create your character profile right there. So these names and usernames are going to be, your username is going to be your character name. Your name is going to be here. Once we figure out how to adjust this code, we'll actually call this character name instead of username. But we haven't gotten to that part yet.
And then what happens? Once I hit
Then you hit next.
And it asks
It's
you to
going
put
to
in your
ask
profile.
you to log into your profile only after you get a confirmation email. So whatever email you put in this spot right here, that's the one that's going to... You got to make sure it's a real email, because that's otherwise you're going to be in bad shape. So we do have the video section now, so you can actually see what you're seeing now at any time, along with the video libraries that we're ever so going further and further with. You can chat right here. All you got to do is just put in your name here. Apparently, I'm already logged in. And you can also share this. So the live viewing and video library are going to be at your disposal at any time, which is pretty cool. And then the players, you're going to actually be able to see all your players here. Oh, we got a new one. There it is. Magic 8 Ball. Look at that. We know it's new because it has no profile picture. But you do see the new photos, new videos, and this is kind of your cheat area here. You can see where people have posted in the forums.
New information in the forums.
It's basically new information in the forums.
That way you
you
don't have to go all the way
search
to the
through
forum.
forums. It's your cheater guide here. And
I
here's
still do it the old school way and just go
I
through
know.
the forums. Cause
It's not that hard through the forums because you can actually see in the forums page when
It says what's
it'll say
new.
new or whatever else,
and you don't have anything.
because I'm not signed in. Upcoming events, you can go to that. It'll show you the event. You can actually register for it right on the page. It'll show you where it is.
Which we like to see it on there if you're going to come to an event. Yeah, I know I do. I like to see it on there, especially on the Facebook page. Is this how the certain number of people are coming?
I always put maybe because I know it's going to rain, and I know also that I like to go out the night before. So my maybes means
Maybe.
if I might be there if the hangover isn't too bad.
If the head poundage is...
Yes.
Oh, look, there's a dwarf tap dancing on my forehead.
Right.
I'm not going to make it.
And then we also have the share this button, so you can post it on your social site of choice. And iCalendars, you can put it on your iCalendar, like your Google Calendar or whatever. So it's very easy to put this onto one of your profiles. Creating these events on
And
this
I
is-
never remember to go into that part and
That's okay.
accept it. And then, like, 2 days afterward, I go and I look at my profile, and there's, like, 3 things in the bell. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, I got a lot of stuff on Facebook, so social networking site.
Right. The other thing is on the guilds, we had a question this last week about guilds. Anybody can create a guild. It's just you won't be recognized in a guild until you have at least 4 members. So you won't actually see it live. You won't be able to really talk about it live in the realm.
We have 5
Um,
members.
We have 5 members.
That's you twice.
That's me twice?
That's you twice.
Oh, yes.
But so we
Yeah,
have
then
4
we have 4.
members?
I think I'm in there twice too.
I might be in there
No.
twice.
I don't remember who it is. Let's see.
And this is how you would go in and check.
This is actually me going in because I am the guild creator on this one. Let's take it and just go to full screen. So you're going to see in the guild, if I go into that guild, it'll show
Who the members are?
who the members are. So, Esme, which is my counterpart, Elder Diablo.
Oh, yes, you are in there twice.
No?
You're not?
Odin isn't even in here.
Huh.
Your admin is in there. I invited Odin. You're going to have to check that. I do not know. But once I invite somebody, I cannot invite you again. So you have to request. You got to go into this and request to be part of it.
I am in there twice.
You are in there
because
twice.
I have
your admin
moderator
is in there twice. Right.
I have a moderator and a character account.
As do I.
Yes.
So once you have friends, you can actually go to the Invite Friends tab for your guild.
There's Odin.
And click on...
See what happens.
Do it.
Oh, look at that. I can add him again.
Look at that. It's probably because you never invited him.
I'll invite Skylab. I'll invite Bucky. Let's see, what does
Bucky has his own...
Yeah, he's got his own thing going on there. And
But
I know
that's true.
he's got Norak. You can invite Norak then too, or...
Norak is not my friend. Oh, yeah, look at that. There he is. So I'm going to invite these people into my guild. And then I'm going to put a message saying...
And if they join your guild and show up, we can...
Take his own.
We can take his own.
We could. I'm going to submit
Right
that.
next to Bloodbath and Beyond.
Now, you can't spam the crap out of this account. So once you've invited somebody, you can't invite them again. That was kind of the rule. To make a privacy issue not so much of an issue. So if there's a pending invitation here, it would have showed up. If there was a pending one, and then I would approve or deny them through your group guild. Now on LARPing.pro, there's going to be two sections. There's going to be YLARP guilds. There's going to be guilds, and there's going to be the associations. We're going to come up with a cool name for them, but I don't have one right now. So like YLARP would have their own homepage. So you can be part of a guild that could be nation or worldwide, or you'll also be able to, because you can join multiple groups. So like we would be a part of the YLARP group, and we would be part of the Silver Edge Guild, right? But we might have 20 Silver Edge Guild members in California playing in a different realm in a different group.
That would adhere to the
Silver Edge curriculum or ways.
Creed.
Motto, creed.
Right. Well, where our crest, so I mean, Silver Edge could be huge worldwide, like any other guild could. That way, we're opening it up. A guild could be a very powerful guild, and you could be known throughout the nation. Worldwide dominance. Be cool. But we really wanted to create this way of doing the profiles and stuff so that if you actually, let's say us three as characters, we're in Wisconsin, we wanted to play the Northern Illinois group. We could take our characters, and if they're part of LARPing.pro,
make a road trip.
We can make a road trip and still get the XP on our profile page. It's a way to interconnect. LARPing.pro is going to be a way to interconnect all the groups so that the XP is global. And that is something that nobody's done. So that's going to be pretty sweet. So the more groups we have in LARPing.pro, the more you'll be able to travel and still grow your character.
Now, do you want to... I don't know if we want to go into this, but if you join a guild and then leave a guild to join another guild because other guild members like stab you in the back, kind of thing.
Right. You're free as a character to join and leave guild. Now you have to be approved to join a guild, but you can leave a guild freely, or you can be kicked. So if you're the guild leader and there's a guild member you're not so happy with, you can kick them. On YLARP.com, the guild, if you go into a guild, like the guild we're in right now, this is open. So right now, I don't have these set to private. So I could go into Bloodbath and Beyond and see what they're talking about. In LARPing.pro, these are going to be private. So you will not be able to see these bulletins.
Right, if they're like planning a siege on another zone.
Right.
Yeah,
that would be where you would go to discuss it, so that way nobody else knows what you're...
Well, it is right now. You'd be like, oh, look, they're coming.
You can spy them.
Right, yeah.
And the other cool part is there is a application for this program that allows you to, once you create a guild or a group, you will have a private forum section in the forums. It won't show up anywhere. It'll just be part of your guild. or your group.
Guild
So you're
chat.
going to have a group forum in your page. And you can
So
add
just
them
in this page, the guild
right.
page?
In the guild page, you're going to be part of the forums, but it's hidden. So it looks like it's all part of the same program, but it only is showing up in your group. It's a group setting is what it is. So whether it's a guild or a sanctioning body, what would you call YLARP? YLARP would be a affiliate to LARPing.pro. What would you call that? Not affiliate.
Subsidiary?
No, because they're separate organizations. I mean, a subsidiary could be a separate, but an alliance to pro LARPing.pro. What would that be?
It would be a subsidiary. It's a smaller conglomerate
Of the origin of the
underneath
main.
this main heading. It's like Goodyear, Uniroyal, and there's one on there.
General.
But, well,
I'm guessing.
Goodyear-
I don't know.
Goodyear and General are Goodyear and Douglas are underneath the Goodyear heading.
But they're still controlled by the parent company.
Right.
That's a subglomerate.
Right.
The sanctioning body, like YLARP, even though they're part of LARPing.pro, abide by LARPing.pro's guidelines, but they are no way connected financially or any other way to LARPing.pro. So like an organization, let's say that they've been around a really long time, all right, like that big
Sears.
Texas group, or they got like 7,000 members,
Hmm.
all right. If they're part of ProLARP or LARPing.pro, that does not change anything that they're doing. They will simply just be part of it, but we as the owners of LARPing.pro cannot go and tell them what to do, basically.
Right.
They just have to play by our rules in that they have to fill out the right forms. That's pretty much all it is.
I have no idea what that would be called. I did not go to business school.
Yeah. Well, because that's more like it's a
Corporate. No, it's not a
well,
corporation.
it's not really like that. It's more like LARPing.pro is the sanctioning body.
Right.
The promoter is the club. It's a club in that sanctioning body. But I have no cool words for that right now. I've had too much.
And now you're making everybody fall asleep.
Yep.
So that was a lot of fun.
So there's a lot of
Yet we
crap
digress.
that we're going to know. There's a lot of stuff on this page and on these pages that will look at all that wording. It's so wordy. Stop me.
So wordy?
Take over.
So wordy? No, nerdy? What? You're
I believe
nerdy?
you said wordy.
Oh,
Wordy.
So nerdy.
Wordy.
Oh, wordy. Not
Wordy.
nerdy.
No, we get a bad enough stigma with that already.
Yes and no. I have a bunch of friends that talk to me, and I tell them what I do, and they don't say anything about it. It's kind of weird. Like,
Well,
maybe because they don't know what we're doing.
why?
Or-
Where I work, everybody looks at me like, "You do what?" It's like, oh, that's not what you think.
Oh, you tell them
LARPing.
you do live role playing, and then they think
Well,
that you're doing.
They
stuff
think
in
I
the
just
bedroom.
go out
Rather
there and hit
something
people
porn.
with swords. I said, no, it's not like that. We go do other stuff. It's not like, yeah, we just go out there. Oh, look, I'm going to hit you. Now you hit me. I'm going to hit you. No, we don't do that. We go out there and it's a group thing. We enjoy
Interacting with other people.
being out there.
It's actually a
in the realm.
social activity, I think is the word we would use for this.
I would put it in the
Sports.
It's a sport.
Yeah.
It's actually a sport.
But it's still a social activity. Like if you don't have
Social sport would be what, like playing cards?
Dice, darts.
Yeah. Only we got really big darts.
social,
I have
sport.
never broke a sweat shooting darts. I broke a sweat because I was hot because the bar was 110 degrees. But I've never,
From the physical activity.
from the physical activity of throwing dice or throwing cards,
What about
I've
bowling?
never. Bowling's pretty sporty. I mean, you're hauling a very large, heavy projectile.
I thought you were going to say hucking
No.
or something.
No,
I
I think this would be more of it's a sport because it's physically demanding. You're running around. It's logic. You're using a
trust
lot
me,
of.
you're running around. Try and do
Mhm.
that with a hangover.
Yeah, not
Chasing
fun.
after to and fro is enough.
Or being chased by
Undead.
Fro and his other friend.
It takes some amount of skill, some amount of knowledge base. I mean, there are rules and things that we live by in this game. So
yeah, you have to.
it's
So,
a sport.
Think about it.
So
yeah.
how was your poke in the throat?
That was. I won't forget it. I'll put it to you that it wasn't bad because if it had been with the sword that I was using, that would have been bad. But no, it wasn't too horrible. I mean, the weapons are designed where you're not going to get hurt.
Right. I got whapped in the head too.
Unless you're using fake props, and then you get hit in the head by a newbie player multiple times as you were dead.
Yeah,
That tickles a bit.
it rings, especially with if it's the helmet that you're talking about. Yeah. That tends to leave a little ringing in your ear for about 10-15 minutes. But he didn't understand. I don't think he understood exactly what was going on.
Right.
And it's
But
also
that-
part of education. I mean,
All right,
I
and that's
think-
with the safety video and things like that. When you have to make sure that people understand it. It's like, okay, you don't hit somebody in the head, and then you get what happened to me, where they come
progress and whack you in the head.
by. Right, and you're like, were we paying attention?
Right.
Yeah. But with the younger people, I understand.
You want to go talk about your nifty new two-handed battle weapon
Oh, yeah.
that you created? You might want to stand up and stand in front of the camera so that the viewers at home can see.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
I've had one. Okay.
No.
Are you gonna need
So
a
watch the
walkie?
screen. Watch the monitor so you can see what they're seeing.
Are you gonna need a mic?
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right.
Around?
That would work just fine for me. With this, basically, I created a sword. I made a boffer weapon at my hut, and I realized that I wasn't going to be able to use it because I had an old cleaning device that I was using, and the handle broke off of it, and I was like, oh, what a perfect size to make a weapon out of. And I was wrong because it was metal. And I got the whole thing built, made, put together. I had to tear it all apart. So I took all the spare pieces that I had, and I went to the local hardware store or the general store or the whatever you want to call it, and I picked up a fiberglass driveway marker, which it's only about, I'd say about half an inch in diameter. But I took all the pieces off of the other sword that I made and created this one. This one is actually quite long. It's definitely a two-handed sword. As you can see, I did the pommel and the hilt. The hilt definitely presented quite a few problems because of the pipe insulation and camp pad and everything along those lines. So that took a little bit of engineering. But it just goes to show you that with a little bit of imagination, you can create basically whatever you want to. I mean, my next project is actually going to be an axe, and I'm thinking about also making a mace. So you just get the materials. You can buy the camp pad and the tape and everything along those lines. See if it ran you about $30 to buy all of the supplies. You can make 2, 3, maybe even 4 different weapons or shields or anything else. As a matter of fact, this was just leftovers that I had laying around, so I threw them all together and I made the sword. I can't wait to try it out. We got rained out last week, so I can't wait to try it this week. Coming up. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, you can, with just a little bit of money, you can create several different weapons. And I've got more coming out. I haven't started them yet, but because I ran out of tape. you use a lot of duct tape. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, I'm gonna start rolling out some other weapons, and people are free to use them. People are free to use shields that I make. So yeah, that's just it.
All right, good deal.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the other designs you come up with.
Yeah, it's very much more detail from the first weapon you made, and the first you can just see even from the first shield you made and the second shield you made how much better the second shield was, just because you learned so much more about making that weapon or that shield.
Exactly. If you want to do it at home, obviously you put the first one together. You're like, all right, this is cool. Where can I go from here?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, the blade isn't all one size. I mean, I expanded it right here towards the bottom a little bit. Put the hilt together. It's not just square. It's got a little curve to it, and the pommel's square, but you know.
And it also comes from your learning. So
right,
as you put tape on, you learn how to bend tape the proper direction.
Right.
Which I'm guessing making curves is a little more of a challenge than you figured out from the get-go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, to make a curve, to put tape on a curve, when you put it on, you may need your X-Acto knife or your box cutter, whatever you're using. You got little slits into the side, and you fold this one down, and you fold this one down, and you're sitting there going, man, am I making origami or am I making a sword? You know, if I pull this, is the little duck going to waddle? You know, it just gets to that point. But the imagination is your limit. Let's say you're watching a movie that has a really cool sword on it, you know, and you pause it and you're like, yeah, I can make that. You may not get it right. You might not be exactly what you're looking for. I mean, but you can keep going to as much as you want to make it what you want it to be.
Right. And it's fun. I mean, it's a hobby. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like you're making your own.
Yeah, my own costume.
How's that going?
It's actually going really well. Well, I'm not actually doing it. I got the patterns, and my mom is actually sewing me my stuff. So
She's got the experience.
I mean, I'm sure I could have done it, but I wanted to get it done in a reasonable amount of time.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have been still sewing, and I probably wouldn't have made this cast, because I also wanted it done for Halloween, which we're coming up on. So
Why is the left breast higher than the right breast?
right? Yeah, pretty much.
Is this the front or the back? I am not sure.
You look like a bloody Picasso.
And, you know, I mean, obviously she's running into issues with it, too. Like, the directions are not great.
Cut
And
here.
Or, you cut the stuff out, and then you read the instructions, and they're, like, completely out there. Like,
Haven't you already...
I've never made a pair of pants before, so how do you...
Haven't you already... weren't you telling us earlier about medium does not mean medium?
Oh, right. This is a good story. Yeah, medium is apparently not medium. It is more like extra large. I tried it on. Obviously, Mom didn't have it completely done, but she wanted me to try it on, and it came down to my knees. I mean, obviously, I'm not a very tall person, but still, it's a learning experience. And then my mom goes to me prior to this. She's like, we cut this stuff out. We should have probably held it up to you to find out to see what size it was.
Better late than never.
Before we tried this, but, I mean, it happens, and it's part of the experience, I mean, it makes it a lot more fun, and I'm hoping the doublet gets done this week. It's going to be cool. That's the part that I wanted to be done first, and Mom's like, oh, well, the pants are going to be easy, and the shirt are going to be easy. So, I mean, at least I'll have something to wear for Halloween anyway, if nothing else.
Right.
Instead of everybody asking you, "Well, what strange attire you're in?"
Yes. Or
which
is kind of
when people show up now and they are not
They've been
doing street dress
in regular street clothing. If you show up like that, be expected to be asked what strange.
You're gonna be lightly harassed about your attire. And
well, it's because people are going to be in character, and that's
we're encouraging more and more people to be in character, and proper dress is part of being in character. So, and then also talking about things that are not relevant to the realm. Once you're in the realm, if you start doing that, you will also you will also get some remarks from other players that you know.
What is the sourceless chariot you are
Right.
referring to?
Right.
Or
And if somebody brings
wandering around with your cell phone.
right, bringing a cell phone into a game or any other electronic device, that's a big no-no for safety reasons. And you land on that cell phone, you can break it.
And it
So-
can cut you pretty
and
good.
it can cut you. So some of those are still glass screens and stuff. So, but for the most part, everybody's been pretty good about it.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close to the end of the episode here again.
Yep.
Do you want to do a review and then wrap up? I got a review on this sword we can play.
Sure.
We do have some things coming out on our store relatively soon.
I'm waiting
All these
for the
things that were-
discount.
we're some of these actual nicer blades made by different manufacturers. You'll actually see their advertisements on the site.
Yeah, don't go with the Exoteth. No.
Yeah, we definitely do not promote
recommend that.
at all. But we do reviews on some of the nicer weapons. We do buy some of the nicer weapons so that you can see before you spend your money how well they hold up in LARP. And this is a prime example of one of the things you're going to see, the Knight of Emerald sword. And it's one of the manufacturer of this. You can find all that information in our forums page. Once you're a member, you'll be able to see that. And we're working on the discounts and stuff, so you can buy it right from their site, or we're working out where on our actual store we're going to have this, and we're going to have some of these available in stock. The others will be shipped. But carrying the nicer stuff, we encourage everybody making their own stuff. And in fact, I have the material. What I would like to do one of these LARP sessions is to actually do a workshop of how to build your own sword. So I got all the material in the tavern now. So basically we would just bust out the tables, and if you want to do a crafting session of how to build your sword, we would do that from midday to an hour or two after, or something, or maybe until we run out of material.
Right. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Like the sword that I made took me about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
I mean,
but that's got a lot of detail in it.
Right. It's got a lot of detail. If you want to make just a regular level 1 sword, which is the swim noodle with the PVC, which I did find a good way to lock that down on.
All right, welcome back. I think we're just going to wrap up here since we're pushing close to 2 hours.
Yeah. Sorry, these tavern talks will be more laid out and less
and
wordy.
probably a little short, anyway.
Right.
Hopefully close to the hour mark.
Let us know on ylarp.com how long you think a podcast or a LARPcast should actually be.
Right. Well, we just get so carried away because
we
we
get
enjoy
excited
so much of
about
what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's interactive. I mean, we're coming up with the stuff as we're talking about it. And if you get involved early on, you can help make this
Make the world where you want it.
progress.
Mm-hmm.
It's progressive live action role play. It's ever evolving. So that's the difference between us and a lot of other LARP groups, is there is no set in stone in this stuff.
Right. We don't hand you a rule book and go learn it, and that's what we're all about.
Right. You got to memorize page 58, paragraph 3. What does it say?
Because that's what you're playing.
Right.
No, we're not going to do that.
Just basic safety rules you must know.
Right.
But that's why you're quizzed on those
All right.
Because we don't like getting hit in the head.
constantly.
Constantly. It happens a lot. It happens as much as you think it would.
Yeah. The new players.
But no,
Younger players.
even the players that have played a while. I mean,
True.
A lot of that is blocking, and
per-
they block right into the head.
block and it goes.
It's
into
usually
the head,
not-
or
it's
one
definitely
person
not-
ducks when you're swinging.
Mhm.
And
It's not intentional, though.
no,
Right.
I'm not saying it's intentional. I'm just thinking it happens about as often as you would think it would happen.
Right.
A block going astray, or
Mhm.
someone swinging and they're ducking, and it just happens. But
And we know the proper procedure when that happens. So,
It's
fall
part
on
of the safety
ground and
video.
Cry like a little girl.
well, not cry, but well, if you
Complain
want to.
about it.
Yeah, that'll work.
There's usually a definite pause
I've heard
called,
that once or twice.
a pause called, or a medic called. And a medic is
way more important than...
Well, an official would be coming around to assess if it's actually something that's going to be needing actual medical attention, or if it's something that can be done with the first aid kit that's in the tavern.
All right.
Do you have any last words, parting words?
We just hope to see everybody that we can
Get some more people?
Yeah, get as many people as we can out there to the realm. You know, the more people it is, the more people to show up. That was not me.
I can't hear it.
Okay. The more people to show up, the bigger the quests, the
more
bigger
fun it
the
seems
adventures
to be,
and
too.
stuff like those lines.
It also gives other people opportunities instead of just playing their character. They get to play monsters or whatever
Right.
else. You know, I mean, it opens up the realm to more possibilities, I guess would be the word. Artenian, you got anything else any parting words, and keep it short, please?
Tilt one back with me, dog.
Good one. All right. I think we're close to the end here. Let's have a little toast, and then we'll get out of here.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.